Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 21st day of November, 2019. Well, I've done this already once here, and I actually have some other things I need to do. So rather than redoing it, I'm just going to go ahead and leave my cards as they are, and the rune and the geomancy rune, and I'm just going to talk about them. The correspondence, I will say this though, the correspondences are up on the blog today and the astrological information. So if you want to go over to imsteppingaside.com and check that out over there, that is up on the blog right now. It was done for noon, just like always. And I went ahead and I did the same for here, even though it's about 1:30. We're looking at a 3 energy today, so catalytic energy, mind, body, spirit, and balance, which when you see the cards, you'll see why that's a good thing. We have really everything is the same today astrologically as it was yesterday, although the moon is in Virgo in the 9th house. So you might be overly critical in relationships today or in your interactions. So just kind of be a little bit cautious with that. Mars is another issue. In Scorpio in the 8th house, you can be dramatic, a warrior, vengeful. But here's the thing. There's also the energy of working together with others. And an opposition between Mars and Uranus sort of indicates you're comfortable in conflict energy. So be very careful there. You kind of like it. I know a Scorpio that likes that, likes to take the opposite viewpoint and just argue it. Not because he believes it, but just because it's fun to do. And that's what I mean about liking that argumentative conflict type of energy. It energizes them, basically. So be careful with that because it can get away from you. In conjunct with Chiron, between Mars and Chiron, this may be something where you're a little too passive, and the other thing is you might also be unable to see another person's perspective or position. So again, just a little bit of caution there today. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. We're late today because of the hearings. Fiona Hill was amazing, and I don't know, she's just amazing, unflappable. They got nowhere with her on the Republican side. They were just weird and ugly and nasty, and I don't know. I don't know how they I don't know how they look at each other in the mirror. I don't know how they sleep at night acting the way that they do. I really don't. But anyway, we have a 3 energy which aligns with today. It's the Hanged Man, the 12th card from the Major Arcana. So again, a 3 energy. You see triple aspects everywhere in this. You see 3 here. 1, 2, 3. You see 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. So you see this is a triple aspect card. It's about surrender, about transformation, sacrifice, as above, so below, letting go of that which no longer serves. And here, we're going to have that as a significator. And you'll see why. We're going to put these down below. Well, these aren't cards of surrender, but they are cards of taking stock and respite, allowing things to settle out. Even though one is a 4, it still tends to talk about structure. 4 is about structure and about letting things settle and gel, okay? And in this case, we're talking about thoughts and letting all of that just sort of settle down. We've learned some things again today. We've learned some more stuff. And the long and the short of it is sometimes we just need a moment to drop resistance, surrender, go within, and take that moment to figure out what it is we believe. Now, but with the 7, you're talking about here the Pentacles, and so that's material form and the physical matter, physical form. And so our home, our career, in this case, the guy's a farmer. Looks like he's got what looks like grape leaves to me, but I don't know. I would hope not. That's an awfully large pile of grapes. You don't want them getting squashed, unless you're making wine, and then it doesn't matter. But in any event, he's just standing there, kind of surveying everything to see, okay, this is what I was able to gather, and what can I do with it? Am I going to be able to sell it at market, or do I need it for the family or for the home or what have you? It's a cash crop basically. So I'm sure he'll keep some for himself, and then he'll sell it, for income to help support the family. But at the end of the day, everything is collected, everything is there. Just in the same way this is too. Everything's in its order. There's 3 there and 3 down below with the swords, you see. You see a stained glass window there, up to the left. Likely depicting a church or some kind of monastery, maybe. But the biggest issue here, I think, is that when we go within, when we let higher self inform, we're no longer reacting to what we've learned, for example. So if this is something happening in your personal life and you've learned something, or you've been learning something, gaining some awareness here, perhaps it's just telling you, okay, I need to now stop and go within, look inward, and try to come to some kind of decision about it. Try to come to some understanding, maybe, if not a decision, maybe, because sometimes we can't make a decision about something. Sometimes the ball's not in our court that way. And no matter what we might want, really it's up to someone else to clear the log jam or whatever the issue is. The 7 reminds me of my husband when he's out standing in the pasture, leaning on his shovel or something, just looking at stuff, thinking. But it's that moment, where you just know that you have to step away. If this is something where, in the case of the swords, if you're having a conversation with somebody that just gets to be too much, again, we're looking at Mars influence in Scorpio today, also the opposition with Uranus and the in conjunction with Chiron. You're looking at situations here where they might be a little bit volatile, and maybe you need to get away from that moment so that you gain a little bit of perspective. You might discover that even though you're starting to get emotionally tense, you might find that if you give yourself a moment to think about what's being said, maybe you're really not in disagreement with it. And so, it's easy to have those emotions come up, but when that happens, then reason sort of goes away, and you're just all emotional and you can't really think clearly. And so to regain that balance, you're going to want to do what the Hangman suggests, the soul archetype card, and allow spirit to inform the process. And whatever it is, your viewpoint, your perspective. In other words, take a step away from the existing drama and find a different perspective on it. Whatever this is, and it's why I suspect that it has more to do with the hearings right now that are going on. All of this has been upsetting to people, no matter which side of the aisle you're on. I said this yesterday. I say it almost every day. There's going to have to come a point where we just simply drop resistance to whatever grievance we might have and just simply listen to what's being said and take it to heart. And know that the people that are giving us the information don't have an agenda other than to tell the truth. And it may not fit what you want to believe, but it's time now to allow your mind to rest, to take stock, especially if this is the last hearing we're going to have for a little while. Go within and align and figure out where your Athala lies. Athala is the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's the last rune. Although there was a big to-do one time about over I don't even know how long it lasted, but where oh no, it should be Dagaz at the end, and Athala should be the 23rd. Well, I tried it there. It just didn't feel right to me. So I finally just put it back, and now this is back to being the 24th rune, and I'll show you what's contained within it. But it's about the Akashic record. It's about our tradition. It's about our ancestry. It's about the collective consciousness. It's not just simply about our family home or our legacy, although that's contained within it. This is really about the return to collective consciousness and collective awareness and awakening, which with the 11 energy here, we take stock. Maybe that's what we do. In alignment with the Hanged Man, I don't know how we can't. And its 6th energy is higher self, so it's aligning quite well with that. But here we have a geomancy rune that I drew called Rubius. It's one of the Evil three, Carcer, Rubeus, and Cata Draconis. I don't know. I don't think anything is inherently evil or good. Things just are. And, good and evil are part of the same concept, part of the same whole. And the whole idea, they just differ in terms of degree. That's all they are, right? It's a matter of perspective. Someone might see something as wholly evil, another person might just think, oh, that's interesting. And they don't see it that way. So again, it's about perception, it's about degree. But Rubeus is about passion. Again, it's a rune that Scorpio is governed by Scorpio. The moon in Scorpio, I believe, is it the moon in Scorpio or Mars in Scorpio? Because if it does, then it's certainly aligning well with today. And you can get the passion and the warrior and standing up, speaking truth to power. That might have been part of Fiona Hill's energy today, speaking truth to power. Mr. Holmes, the same. Didn't seem to even flinch, just went right in there and told what he knew, and that was that. Was ridiculed for doing so, as always. But he stood firm. Maybe the Mars and Scorpio, again, opposition Uranus, were comfortable in conflict energy. And that may involve, well, it could involve any of them, really. There's also another aspect of it. It presents whatever face is necessary. So it might be good for a salesman, but in terms of honesty, I don't know. And it almost seems like what the reading is telling us is that we need to just let things come to this settling point, right? If we were to take the 11 and add it to the 3, which we're not going to do because we leave the 11 alone, but if we were to do that, then you're looking at a 5 energy or change and fulfillment. So something is going to manifest from all of this, but it needs to manifest from a higher self perspective and not from the ego. Because the ego is not going to serve us here. The ego is going to rear its ugly head with Rubeus if passions get to be too much. Well, it's interesting. I don't think we need a third or a fourth card, rather. So I guess, it's fascinating because we have an 1121 right here in this reading. And we also have a 12 for the year, which involves the hanged man, doesn't it? So we have a lot of numerological significance here as well. I'm glad I looked at that because that's really interesting. So we get an 11 with the 7 and the 4, a 3 with the 21 and the 12, because 21 and 12, you're still going to come to 3, right? And it's interesting, we have this happening. We have that pattern, 12 and 21. New beginnings on either end with a 22 in the middle, that creates, again, the cosmic builder. It's another master number, the most powerful number that we have, actually. Well, that's interesting. I like this reading. It's a great way to end the week. But I really think that if any of you watched the hearings or you've been watching it, we have a lot of things to think about, and I really think that that's what it's telling us to do. And there's so much higher self energy in here, so much spirit energy that we really need to observe the hanged man here and the meaning behind it, all of the varied meanings behind it, and understand that the only person who can make up my mind for me is me. I can listen to what other people have to say. I can look at the facts. I can consider whatever I want to. But at the end of the day, I have to decide for myself. And that's true for every single one of us. So each one of us has to become the hanged man. We have to take stock with the 7 of Pentacles about how all of this is affecting our personal life. Who we are as a people together. allowing this kind of criminality and vitriol and racism and all of this separation and division. Seeing the other, instead of the other side of self, we see the other, and that's a bad thing, right? Well, it's not. Again, we all rest in the mind of the all. Creation is contained within the mind of the all. That's why we talk about it here being an illusion, a collective illusion that we create together. Because that's basically what it is. We might slow things down and have something appear like form, but in truth, it's not. There's space throughout everything. And it's only there by an agreement. Well, what is that? That's the Creator manifesting everything into form. And if we take the hanged man's approach to things, then that's exactly what we're going to do. We need to manifest from the standpoint of spirit and not ego. We see what I always find striking about this card is you see the glow around his head. Well, that's the mind of spirit, isn't it? Informing form. Here we have with Ingus, we have the seed, the top diamond part. The seed of what? Of balanced energy exchange with others. You see Gebo below. You see Kenaz in all directions. Actually, twice pointing down to form. So again, drop resistance, let everything come to rest, and just think about things. And try to figure out what you really do think about it, irrespective of what your spouse, your family, your friends, your coworkers, the pundits on the news. Just ignore it all. Align in source presence and know, because you will. Well, I guess that's it. I'm just going to do a short one today because of the late time here, and I apologize for that. I wish that I could have finished the first one. It was all right. It was a little bit longer, but I don't know. I drew a blank, and it's like I couldn't get it back, and I don't know. It happens. I've been getting up at 5:45 every morning this week, and I haven't been getting like a full 8 hours of sleep. It's broken because I'm afraid I'm going to miss my alarm at 5:45, and I don't usually get up that early anymore, but I've been doing that, and I don't know. I'll just start talking and I blank out. It's like, what was I saying? Again, too much information. I need to be the hangman. Let it all go. Let it all just settle out and figure out what I know. And I recommend you all do the same. So in any event, I also just posted something. I actually have I'm an Amazon affiliate. And some of the times what I'll do with my blog posts is I'll put links in there and you can click on them. And Amazon affiliates just earn from, well, whatever you earn from, I don't know. It's not that much, but it just sort of helps defray blog costs. Literally, that's all it does. And in fact, it doesn't really even do that. But in any event, I did a post that has some holiday stuff in it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do gadgets and electronics and kitchen stuff too. But Amazon has a handmade section. I don't know. Anyway, so that's up on the blog too. There's some stuff I found that I thought was really cool, and so you might like that too. So go check that out over there at imsteppingaside.com if you're interested in any of that. Otherwise, again, the astrological information and correspondences are up. That's for people who work magic, but you might find it interesting anyway if you don't, or it might stimulate you to do some of that. The weekly Rune and Moon again will go up on Saturday night or Sunday. And I think that's it. In any event, I'll see you Monday. Thanks so much for coming by. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.